Now, sexual abuse is a major issue around the world because every day lots of persons get abused. Now, it's not just a female issue. A lot of people say that males also get sexually abused. But we of course know that the higher incidence of sexual abuse around the world rests on females. Questions have to be asked about ways of curbing sexual abuse, especially in a developing country like Nigeria, where even the laws have been questioned, existing laws have been questioned, and many laws are being created to handle issues of sexual abuse, and some emerging issues that possibly when the laws were created were not even factored. New laws are being muted and even created. And that is exactly what we'll be talking about on this edition of the Live TV show. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll be speaking to someone who is well versed about what the law says and even in practical terms in securing social justice for people across Nigeria. I'm joined by Barrister Ifeoma Chijioke. She is an assistant director and the head of the social justice unit at the National Orientation Agency. Barrister, it's good to have you on the Live TV show. As a barrister of law, can you tell us your conception of sexual abuse?
I will start with just a story before I get to that. I went to read law because all my life I've had one or two threats from the opposite sex. I am fair. Majority of the people around me are dark complexioned. Most men have experienced those dark complexioned ladies. So once I come in contact with them, I don't know, my own presumption is that they will want to see what this fair lady would taste like in bed. From when I was very young, I started warding off men. Some older than my father, some younger than him.
Like how young were you?
It started from when I was 16. But there is this thing that my father always taught me. To be brave and to speak my mind, no matter whose ox is being called. So I will always look at a man old enough to be my father and tell him to go to hell. I was supposed to graduate with some of my mates. I did actually. I went to law school with them. But I had a lot of challenges along the line. Some professors, there was a particular professor, if I say his name, everybody will just know him. Because he got to a stage that they gave him a nickname. I'm not going to call his nickname.
Yes, please.
This professor was taking us in a borrowed course. He told me to my face that he must have carnal knowledge of me. And I told him to his face equally that he will never. I knew the cost. The cost of it is I now had to read harder and work harder. As a matter of fact, I picked up A's in all his courses.
Wow.
I never had a B. Because I used to chew and swallow his handouts and his textbooks and regurgitate them.
Okay, just like he would want it.
Cross his T's and dot his I's. That was what I did for the 2 years that we had him. So, sexual abuse, which is the topic of today, has to do with forcefully having carnal knowledge or trying to have carnal knowledge of somebody without his or her consent.
Okay.
I have to include his because guys are equally abused sexually.
Yes.
Though if you go to section 357 of the criminal code, he didn't mention guys there.
Okay. So they're not captured even now?
I think they're trying to upgrade it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, it's about coercion. That is force.
Yes.
And that's what makes sexual abuse what it is. Now, in Nigeria, given our level of development and the number of cases that drop at your table every day, would you say that there's any lady, an impressionable young girl in Nigeria who hasn't had this kind of experience that you just narrated? Is it possible that there are people who are walking the streets and they don't even know what sexual abuse is?
It's not possible. It's a common, it's I don't know, it's as common as the air we breathe.
Oh.
It's true. It's all over the place. The only thing is that this country, the laws and everything, do you know, it's only 18 rape cases that have seen the light of the day in Nigeria, despite the fact that so many cases on rape come up. But only 18 has succeeded.
Okay, in getting redress and
But there's one very important thing that the law has never addressed. It's not all about coming and reporting a case and then seeing it through. The one that worries me is what happens to the victims of rape. You know, it's not easy to go through the law courts as a rape victim.
Yeah.
And then come out. Even if you win that case, you can never be the same.
You mean, in what sense?
Emotionally, psychologically, every aspect of a human being. Honestly, it's when you meet.
So you're talking about total rehabilitation is still not a possibility.
Nobody even talks about that. Everybody concentrates on, hi, this rapist, he must be dealt with. The rapist is caught, apprehended, taken to court, sentenced. What next? What of that victim? Who never gets over it? Who can never look somebody straight in the face and say, I've never experienced it? Or look at what I think, look at how I feel. Because most of the time they don't even talk, they can never open up, they don't ever discuss it. It is buried deep inside
More
them.
like a taboo topic.
Honestly, a taboo is even is better. If you say a taboo, somebody maybe with time will get over taboo, because maybe that taboo will now, maybe the culture will now erase it and say it's no longer a taboo. People can now make. This one is something I don't know how to explain.
In the soul. No.
In the spirit, soul and body entwined.
Right. You talked about rape, and I feel that that's an extreme form of sexual abuse. What other aspects, in what other forms and faces do we still see sexual abuse around us?
Okay. Harassment.
Okay.
You can talk about sexual harassment. You can talk about even pedophiles that are all over the place.
When you talk of harassment, let's start with that.
Sexual harassment from our own perspective has to do with, it can be touching, it can be forcefully trying to embrace, touching somebody's boobs, touching somebody's bum bum, you know, just nasty things. Forcefully trying to kiss somebody.
Okay, like I think that some people who are street traders can associate with this kind of thing.
Not only street traders, some students.
Students?
Oh sure, you could walk into your dean's or your lecturer's office. Oh, his eyes, because usually they have roving eyes. The eyes will really pop out of his head.
Wow.
And he's trying to look and appraise the ups and downs of, you know.
Yeah.
And the next thing, hello girl, he could just,
okay,
then maybe you will shift back small now.
Yeah.
Sir, good afternoon. He has sexually harassed you without your permission. He has touched vital part of your body and sent a signal.
So is that also, that's an offense?
It's a harassment. Why should somebody touch you on that like that?
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
He could kiss you,
or even want to.
He could kiss. Okay, the way they do it, they grab. You know he's a man now.
Yes.
And you're just a student. He's student, maybe fragile, small, tiny. Before you say Jack Robinson, his filthy lips has already, enfolded yours. When my daughter was growing up, I banned her from calling anybody brother, uncle, all that.
Yeah.
I want to encourage mothers to do that. A case that was brought to our office involving 2 daughters of one woman like that. So the woman has this person that is an uncle, a big brother, whatever they call him. He used to come and stay with the children. The woman, she has a business, so he takes her out. So usually he will come and stay with his kids. And he used to play with their genital organs. This little boy, anytime the guy comes around, the little boy will carry cane and be beating him. Go away, bad uncle, go away. Then the mother will be cautioning him, why are you always like this? The boy didn't know how to explain what usually transpired in the woman's absence. One day, the woman forced him to say something. He was just crying because the woman beat him for trying to cane the uncle.
Okay.
So he was not crying, saying she usually touches he called her name, her bum bum, and then she would be screaming and he would still be pushing. I think he doesn't know what he used to push inside the organs of the little girl. But the only thing is that the girls used to cry, and it was upsetting the small boy.
Yeah.
So the woman, do you know the woman is so negligent to the extent that the boy baths the daughters. She doesn't have time to even bath her own children. So the boy used to do it for her. And she was very grateful to him, not knowing that the guy was enjoying himself. By the time this woman was forced into understanding what was happening, the little one's intestine has started. I don't know, something was wrong with the vagina. Small, I think it's intestine, because when we took her to the hospital, our system is terrible. The police, the case was reported to the police. So the police was supposed to do investigation. The police, I just came to the station that early morning. I sat by the side and I was watching both the police and the complainant. Do you know the police wanted to even arrange the release of the guy to take him on bail, for somebody to come and take him on bail? I asked the police, these children, have they been tested? Have they been taken to the hospital for examination? Then they start quarreling amongst themselves. Hey, the other officer said, I told you people, this woman that has been sitting there, I don't even understand who she is. Is she a party to this thing? Hey, take the children. Have you taken them to clinic? I told you yesterday to take them to they were just quarreling. They did not remember to examine the children. They were interested in the culprit.
Yes.
In the complainants, and what they will be able to make out of the case. Yeah. Nobody was interested in these little children, and they were my interest.
Oh.
When we took them for examination, pores had already started forming along the walls of the vagina of the children. And if you see this guy that they call brother Abionko, hair all over his body, looking like a monster. God.
And he's a young guy.
He's a young guy. The DP was asking him, do you have girlfriend? He said no, that he's born again. He's born again. He's born again, God. I said born again. God has suffered. You see God in heaven, he has suffered.
We will take a breather here because some of the things that we're hearing, especially regarding sexual abuse against minors, is something that we need to think about. But of course, this is still the Live TV show.